The story of Raja and his troubled home. In a kingdom called Bharatpura, there lived a man named Raja, who was a respected merchant known for his wealth and business acumen. He had a wife, 2 children, and a house that many envied. Yet despite his outwardly prosperous life, Raja was tormented by internal strife. His family, though seemingly perfect to the outside world, was filled with dysfunction and moral decay. Raja had inherited a large fortune from his father, but over the years, he found himself burdened by debt. His father, though wise and wealthy in his prime, had been a chronic debtor in his later years, a legacy which now fell to Raja. The debts continued to grow, threatening to consume his wealth. His wife, the beautiful and charming Sumitra, was known throughout the town for her grace and elegance. But behind closed doors, she was not the woman her husband believed her to be. Raja discovered, to his dismay, that his wife had been unfaithful, having secret affairs with other men. This betrayal, like a sharp blade, cut deep into Raja's heart, and he could not escape the pain it caused. His son, Aryan, was a young man of great potential. However, he lacked interest in his studies and refused to pursue knowledge. Instead, he spent his days idling away, uninterested in learning the skills that could one day help him inherit his father's business. His lack of ambition and ignorance frustrated Raja to no end. In the midst of these challenges, Raja could not find peace in his own home. He was trapped in a cycle of debt, betrayal, and frustration, and he could not see a way out. One evening, as he sat in his private study, contemplating his situation, his trusted friend, an old sage named Mahendra, visited him. "Raja," the sage said kindly, "I see the weight of sorrow upon you. What troubles your heart?" Raja sighed deeply and explained his plight. "I am burdened by the debts left by my father. My wife, whom I once adored, is unfaithful to me, and my son shows no desire to learn or grow. My own family has become my enemy, and I feel trapped in my own home. What am I to do?" The sage listened carefully and then spoke with gentle wisdom. "Raja, I understand your pain. The home, which should be a place of comfort and refuge, has become a battlefield. The situation you face is indeed difficult, and the root cause of this turmoil lies in the nature of those around you. Allow me to explain with a story. The tale of the unrighteous family. Long ago, in a village far from here, there was a man named Vasant. Vasant was a successful farmer, much like you, Raja, and he had a beautiful wife, a son who was strong and healthy, and a father who had once been a wealthy merchant. But Vasant's family, like yours, was full of discord. Vasant's father, though once a prosperous merchant, had squandered his wealth through irresponsible borrowing. He had been a chronic debtor, unable to pay off his debts in his later years. His financial troubles were passed down to Vasant, who inherited not just the family estate, but also the burdensome debts. Vasant worked tirelessly to pay them off, but the burden never seemed to lessen. Vasant's wife, Lalita, was renowned for her beauty. She had many admirers, and though Vasant trusted her, he discovered that she had been unfaithful. She had betrayed him with several men, and despite his love for her, he could not forgive the dishonor she had brought upon their home. Finally, Vasant's son, Arvind, was strong and healthy, yet he had no interest in learning the ways of farming or business. He spent his days in idle pursuits, never applying himself to his studies or work. Vasant's hopes for his son's future faded as he watched Arvind waste his potential, day after day. Vasant felt trapped, as you do now, Raja. He could not find peace in his home, and he became weary of the constant struggles he faced. One evening, the village elder, who had witnessed the decay of Vasant's family, came to him. The elder, wise in his years, said, "Vasant, you are a man of great potential, yet your family has become your greatest enemy. Let me explain why. The root of the strife. The father, who is a chronic debtor," the elder began, "brings not only financial ruin to himself but also to his family. Debt is a burden that clouds the mind and brings constant stress, preventing the father from focusing on the true needs of his family. A home built on debt is a home built on instability, and that instability will seep into the lives of those around him. The adulterous wife," the elder continued, "though beautiful on the outside, poisons the heart of the household. Trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to restore, and her actions breed resentment and dishonor. A wife who betrays her husband, and vice versa, destroys the very foundation of the home. The beautiful wife, however, is not the greatest enemy," the elder said, "for beauty is fleeting. It is the lack of loyalty, the betrayal of love, that creates the true pain. The unlearned son," the elder added, "is a heavy burden. He wastes his potential and does not fulfill the duties expected of him. A child who refuses to learn and grow becomes a source of sorrow, not only for the father but for the entire family. A family that does not value education and wisdom will struggle to rise above mediocrity." Together, the elder concluded, these elements, the debts, the infidelity, the ignorance, form a toxic combination that makes a home a place of misery rather than comfort. You, Vasant, like Raja, are caught in this web of misfortune, but you must remember that you, and you alone, can change the course of your life. Raja's realization. As the sage finished his tale, Raja sat in silence, contemplating the elder's words. The burden of debt, the betrayal of his wife, and the lack of ambition in his son, all of these were contributing to the suffering in his home. He realized that, much like Vasant, he had allowed these problems to fester and grow, and it was his responsibility to correct them. Mahendra, Raja said with a renewed sense of determination, I now understand. I must confront these issues within my family. I cannot change my father's debts, but I can work to eliminate them. I cannot change my wife's actions, but I can speak to her with honesty and demand loyalty and respect. And I cannot force my son to learn, but I can guide him and show him the value of education and hard work. The sage smiled. That is the wisdom of a true leader, Raja. The family may be your greatest challenge, but it is also your greatest opportunity for growth. Take responsibility, and you will find the peace and harmony you seek. Moral of the story: a father who is a chronic debtor, an adulterous mother, a beautiful wife, and an unlearned son are indeed enemies within one's own home. These elements bring instability, dishonor, and suffering. However, it is through the father's efforts, the husband's wisdom, and the guidance of the leader that these troubles can be overcome. Only by addressing the root causes, debt, betrayal, and ignorance, can peace and prosperity be restored in the home. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.